Joining us now from Capitol Hill, member of the House Intelligence Committee, Democratic Congressman Jim Himes of Connecticut.
Hey, Congressman, you know, every once in a while, Willie and I and Mika like to play word association games.
Okay.
So we're going to play it with you this morning, starting right now. Now seems to be a good time, right?
Sure.
Here we go. Ready?
Right.
Carter Page, go.
Loopy.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
The winner.
That's the word. What's going on?
No, so as we were talking about earlier with David and myself, loopy, but at the same time, damning would be another word as it goes to and shocking. Some of the revelations that have
brazen
that have come out. Talk about the significance outside of the loopy testimony, the significance of his testimony on the larger investigation.
Yeah, it was. I got to tell you, I've been doing this for a while, and it was one of the weirder depositions I've sat through. 7 hours of really eccentric behavior. And by the way, I mean, I think it was Lincoln who said, you know, he who represents himself has a fool for a client. You know, you don't get near this stuff without a lawyer's advice. And Joe, to answer your question, the reason for that is that, as you see from reading the transcript, there were any number of fairly important contradictions in his testimony, actually on the day of his testimony. So. You know, probably the big one was, and I don't want to make too much of this because we're in the investigation. You don't want to draw conclusions from one particular testimony, but, you know, he tells the media, he tells us first that he's had no contact, no meetings, no greetings. You'll see there's that whole argument there with senior Russian officials. But then the ranking member, Adam Schiff, reads him this email where he's reported back to the Trump campaign that, in fact, he got all these incredible insights from very senior people in Russia. So that is one more example after Sessions, after Don Jr., after, you know, 4 or 5 other people in the campaign of people obfuscating, of hiding contacts that they had with the Russians. And if nothing else, again, you can't draw...
Congressman, what about Donald Trump and the Attorney General saying that they had not met with any Russians during the campaign or didn't have any information of people in their staff meeting with Russians? And the Vice President as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my point. You know, you just have this repeated pattern of behavior of denying contacts with Russians when those occurred. And, you know, if nothing else, that does not make you look innocent, and it probably drags out the investigation because not all of those things will necessarily be nefarious. But, boy, they sure do raise questions about why nobody in this administration seems to be able to remember any contact with Russians, even though there was lots of contact with Russians.
Congressman, Steve Kornacki, look, obviously this Carter Page testimony, it's getting a lot of headlines, getting a lot of attention today, and the work your committee is doing is causing, getting quite a bit of attention. I'm curious, though, we've talked so much about the work that Mueller is doing, the special counsel's doing, and the sort of the investigative power he has. Realistically, what can a committee like yours learn about this that Bob Mueller isn't going to learn?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, you know, as you look at the last couple of months, you get a sense for what's going to happen here. You know, Bob Mueller has the ability, first of all, he's got immense resources, investigatory resources. He's got the ability to get people to wear wires, to cooperate. You know, he's really going to do a more comprehensive job when it comes to the question of whether any crimes were committed. We're not really prepared to do that. We don't have the resources. That's not what we do. We're going to be about what did the Russians do? How did they do it? How can we prevent that in the future? Bob Mueller is going to be about what you saw happen in bombshell fashion 2 weeks ago: indictments, guilty pleas, cooperation, that whole thing in the criminal realm.
All right, Congressman Jim Himes, thank you so much. Great to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.